are here in the Lowdown screening room where I have been watching some of our next guests work on the Sony laser projector. And let me tell you what, it looks so good. We are going to be talking to Drew Geraci, who is a Sony artisan and filmmaker. But first, before we talk to him, let me give you the lowdown on the Sony laser projector. The Sony laser projector has consistent brightness and colors, smooth dynamic contrast, fast on and off, and up to 20,000 hours of virtually no maintenance. Fun fact, you could watch a movie a day for 27 years. That sounds pretty fun to me. And now I'm so excited to talk to our next guest, Drew Geraci. From his early days of a US Navy combat photographer all the way to the biggest productions in Hollywood, he is also a Sony artisan and just an overall incredible filmmaker and cinematographer, and he is here to chat with us today. Hey Drew, thanks so much for being with us. It's great to have you on the Lowdown.
I'm really excited. Thanks for having me.
This is great. I was watching some of your work on the projection before we were chatting, and I am very impressed, and I have lots of questions for you.
Well, I've got lots of answers for you, so I'm really excited.
All right, so let's just jump into it. So what is it like seeing your work projected on the big screen?
I think there's something to be said about seeing your work on the big screen just because you're actually getting to see like the full resolution, the full pixel count, and it's just one of those kind of mesmerizing experiences that is unforgettable. So I think there's definitely like a back and forth battle between filmmakers and content creators because while it's great to be able to consume something so easily on your phone or your tablet, I think there's definitely something to be said about, actually watching the content as it was prepared by, the DP and the director and being able to see it come to life on the big screen.
Now you do a lot of filming in 4K and even 8K. Is there anything that you were shooting and then you took it to the big screen on a projector and you were watching it where you're like, oh, I actually didn't even notice that when I was filming it?
Yeah, actually that happens quite a bit. We just finished filming for the Sony AirPeak S1 and we were out in Utah and we were shooting with the Sony Alpha 1, which shoots 8K, and I was able to capture some incredible experiences with the new drone and the camera. But I was able to see the detail in the mountains, and you can actually see the snow fluttering off the top of the mountains in 8K, and it's just absolutely mesmerizing to watch. And it's those kind of details that you don't normally see if you're watching on 1080p or below.
So we are now seeing HDR a lot more, and I feel like it might be confusing, for a lot of people, and even myself sometimes. Do you want to explain kind of HDR?
Yeah, I think in the simplest term, HDR is for high dynamic range, and high dynamic range really allows you to see those midtones, those highlights, and those shadows in ways that you've really never seen them before. And it also gives the artist or the cinematographer the chance to really showcase what it is they wanted to show when they were creating that piece, whether it's for a TV show or for a film.
So I also hear that you have a lot of things that you've been working on. Is there anything that you're able to talk about?
Oh, that's a great question. So there's always a lot of things that are being worked on. I do a lot of motion control time lapse as well as aerial work, and we're working on a couple different feature films. I can't necessarily say who they are for, but we're creating content that honestly has never been created before, and it's really about going out there and kind of doing experimental stuff when it comes to HDR and high resolution content. So we are using a plethora of different kind of Sony Alpha cameras as well as the Venice 2, and when you combine all those together, you can create some really nice movie magic.
So you told us how technology has changed your experience as a filmmaker. How has it changed for you as a viewer?
If you look at all the different shows and streaming services that are out there, there's a lot of offers that come with 4K HDR, 4K or 8K, Dolby Atmos Vision, all these different plethoras of color combinations. And I think from my viewing standpoint, being able to see it on the big screen or on a projection or TV in your house has really come a long way. And being able to see all those pixels, especially in 4K or an 8K screen, it immerses you in an environment that maybe you didn't really notice or see before when you were viewing it in 1080 or even 720p.
So I'm a huge Sony fan. I shoot on all Sony. So I'm kind of curious of what, your cameras, what lenses, like what's your go-to setup?
Well, that's great. I'm a huge Sony fan too. I've got a plethora of different setups. I love my Sony Alpha 1. It's probably my favorite camera to use. And then I also use the Sony a7S III, the a7R3 and R4, the a7 IV. I've got too many cameras. I've got a camera addiction actually.
I do too.
And I have to say that it just gets better with time. Sony's coming out with all these amazing lenses, especially my favorite right now is the new 12-24 and the 7200 Mark II, because that lens is the crispest, sharpest lens I've used probably ever. And it's one of those things that when you're shooting an interview or you're shooting landscape shots, you're just gonna get an incredible view. And when you couple that with the 8K technology from the Sony Alpha 1, you get the crispiest, the sharpest, and the freshest looking image, and it's probably one of the reasons why I, use it all the time.
So you have worked on a lot of projects. What is your favorite project this year?
Actually, my favorite project this year is working with the Sony AirPeak. Being able to go out to Utah, being able to capture incredible vistas, especially ones that I've never seen before because I've never been to Utah. So it was kind of a nice wake-up call when I was able to, take the AirPeak out there and get shots at 200, 300, 400 feet and see different perspectives using the Sony Alpha 1. And for me personally, working on these projects really just helps invigorate me and gets me excited for the next big project.
So you are at a point in your career where you are working on the highest productions with some of the most incredible producers and directors. What is that like?
That's a great question because sometimes I have to pinch myself because it really feels like a dream. But being able to collaborate with different directors and DPs and creatives of all levels, it's one of those things where it's like, it's surreal, but at the same time, they're just people. And being able to work on high profile sets and you understand the technical aspects, you go in there, you do a job, and then you do it again and again and again and again. And it's wonderful. I never actually thought that I would end up, being able to work with Steven Spielberg or David Fincher or Alejandro Inarritu, because these are all idols of mine when I was growing up. And then literally because of the work that I was creating, it put me in a position where I could then, work with these highly influential directors.
Now, this is a question I like to ask a lot of creative people that I meet. What inspires you and what keeps you motivated?
Oh my gosh, that's an amazing question because I feel like inspiration comes from a lot of different things. I love social media because I get to see what other people are doing, other photographers, cinematographers, and I can take the information that they're putting out there and be like, oh wow, that's a great idea. Maybe I can couple it with this, this, and this, and then create something that's original and, of my own. I get inspired when I can see something coming to fruition. Like I'll go out there and I'll shoot a shot and be like, oh wow, this looks really good. Why don't I try doing it this way? And then I'll go out and keep replicating it and doing it over and over again until I can perfect it, and it then just spirals into this giant ball of inspiration, and that's pretty much what's been happening for the last couple of months now, and I haven't been happier.
Well, your work is incredible, and it has been such an honor to talk to you, and thank you so much for being on The Lowdown. And like I said, we are now best friends because we have all of the same interests, so I'm going to add you on. I'm going to add you on Instagram.
We're BFFs. Thanks for having me. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.